Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name's Acacia. Today is the 24-hour Dewey Readathon. I am in the middle of it, but I'm taking an hour-long lunch break, so ate a sandwich in 2 minutes, and now I'm doing some filming to catch up before the week starts. This is going to be my October Part 2 book haul. I was not expecting to have a large book haul, but a lot of books that I ordered in September that hadn't arrived yet arrived, and then several books that were pre-orders arrived. A few books from publishers arrived. It was an overall I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books officially in this month. The rest of them were all ordered in September, and or earlier, and the others are from publishers. So let's dive in. We're going to start with Granta's book. They sent me Sarah Moss's Cold Earth. This is a horror, historical fiction kind of feel. I love the end paper, not the end papers, the ends, the border. This takes place in Greenland in a settlement between a burned down farm stand and a chapel, and it is from different perspectives. I'll do a more full in-depth review of it later. I read it. It was good, but it wasn't my favorite Sarah Moss book, and I'm almost finished with all of her books, and once I am, I'll do a full author wrap-up spotlight. Then Tin House sent me this, Swimming Lessons by Claire Fuller. You guys know how I felt about our book, Our Endless Numbered Days, which you can no longer see. It's behind me on this side. And I loved it. So I couldn't wait to get my hands on a copy of her newest book, so they were kind enough to send me this for review. And then that one and this one I'm probably going to try and read during the Buddy Readathon this week. And this one is The Queue by Basma Abdelaziz. And this is from Melville House. I wrote to them because I started looking around for great translated fictions from Africa, outside of Africa. This one takes place in Egypt, and it's a dystopian style culture based around the struggles in Egypt and their past, and I am so stoked. So this is in an unnamed Middle Eastern city, a centralized authority, also known as the Gate, has risen into power in the aftermath of the disgraceful events and a failed popular uprising. Citizens are required to obtain permission from the Gate for even the most basic of their daily affairs. Yet the Gate never opens, and the queue in front of it grows longer and longer. Citizens from all walks of life wait in the sun. A revolutionary journalist, a Shiika, I hope that's how you pronounce it, the brother of a security officer killed in the clash with the protesters, and a man with injuries from the events that the Gate would prefer to keep quiet. Written with the dark, subtle intelligence, The Queue describes the sinister nature of authority and illuminates the way that absolute authority manipulates information, mobilizes others in services to it, and fails to uphold the right of even those faithful to it. I'm really excited about this. And actually, I almost spoke up and voiced that one of the reasons I wanted it is because my country's political current predicament is kind of terrifying to me, and feels like it might end up in a direction somewhat dystopian style, but I kept that to myself with my email to them. And then it's written in what's the word I'm looking for? Almost like interview format. So the first one is document 1, and then there is the patient's information, their name, their age, so on and so forth. I'm very excited to get to that, and I'm hoping to in this readathon. This one, though, I have read already. This is by Paula Nagel. It's The Leaper Compound, and it was sent to me by Bellevue Literary Press. You guys know how much I love them, how much I loved the last book that they sent me, which was Bob Stevenson, which was a book about a a man with dissociative identity disorder, which is the mental illness that I suffer from. This is the leper compound. This is a story that is about a young girl who's motherless and isolated from her sister who suffers from schizophrenia, but she is one of the only people who understands her sister with schizophrenia. And an illness is, you know, just ravaging this area in Rhodesia, and the conflict of the social radicals and the political boundaries, and I will do a more in-depth review of this. So this really shook me because I spent 98% of it with my iPhone next to me looking up historical events because I didn't know some of the references, and I'll go more into detail about how much I loved the fact that this book made me learn outside of just the book. So that was really exciting. And then they also sent me this, which is Talkin Black, and this is by John McWhorter. This is an uncorrected proof, and it's due out in January of next year. This I know is it's a linguistic study kind of talking about slang and the way that people in the Black community communicate differently with words that they come up with as their own slang, and then when the white man adopts it almost as their own, because we tend to do that, it continues to change and adjust, and it's going to be really interesting. I'm really, really fascinated to hear more. The author teaches linguistics and music, so I'm really stoked. Now we're getting into the books that I've ordered for myself and purchased. This one I ordered last month. This is a pre-order. This is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Casey. This is the Penguin Orange Classic Edition that just came out, the new editions that are coming out of a bunch of different books. You guys, I didn't own One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest yet, and so that was a real shock to me when I realized that I didn't own it yet. So I immediately rectified that because I really liked this cover. So we did that, and that's one. For those of you who don't know what One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is about, it's about a mental illness facility. It's got a famous movie. It's going to be really, really tough. I'm not going to read it for a while, but I liked that edition, so it was weird. Anyway, this one I picked up and I've started reading it. This is Raw Blood by Katrina Ward. This is gothic thriller, horror kind of feel. It's interesting so far. I'm enjoying it. I can't say that it's my all-time favorite thing, but it's written in a more literary fiction sort of way. It's definitely more lyrical and pretty, and it's a little more old school writing than modern, which I'm really enjoying. But so far it's okay and I'm enjoying it. It's not, I don't know, I'm swayed at the moment between. Then I picked up this. A lot of people I've heard mixed reviews on. This is PKD's or Philip K. Dick, The Man in the High Castle. This is a world, in a sci-fi world, where the Nazis and the Japanese have taken over America because we lost the Second World War. I'm very interested in it. I know that there's a TV show based around it on Amazon, and I didn't want to jump into that without having read the book. But I still haven't really jumped into that 100%. Anyway, that one my mother purchased for me on a day out, her and I. This one as well, she and I were both kind of, she told me to find a book I knew that I wanted, a book I'd never heard of that I wanted, and a book that challenged me. That was like her thing, so that was what I did. And this is the Paris Architect, and it's by Charles Belfour. This is a book about an architect in Nazi Germany who ends up trying to design a home that hides a family but fails, and is then responsible for the family afterwards. I'd never heard of it, I'd never seen it before, but now I have it and I'm super excited. Then my local bookstore, Bull Moose, I will link below my video talking about how I buy books and how I budget them in and all of that sort of stuff. The Bull Moose store that I have is under construction, which meant that they had a bunch of books on clearance because they didn't have enough space. And oddly enough, they had this. This is Hagseed by Margaret Atwood, and it's an advanced reader's copy. It was 50 cents. I couldn't say no. I am very curious about the Hogarth Press books based around Shakespeare. I was not 100% sure if I was going to pick this up, but when I saw it so inexpensive, I was definitely on board. I love the end paper. The one I'm really excited about is Gillian Flynn's Hamlet and Joe Nesbo's Macbeth. Those are the two that I'm the most excited about, but I'm willing to give this a shot. So far, Margaret Atwood and I have not seen eye to eye as far as fiction goes, but we'll see. 50 cents, I didn't think it was a big deal. Then you guys know I already owned Geek Love by Catherine Dunn, but unfortunately I didn't love the cover I had. So when I found this for 50 cents, I automatically picked it up, and I have now put the other book, the other edition of Geek Love into my books to sell next time. This is really exciting and striking, and it's supposed to be really wonderful and talking about people in a circus environment, and I believe that there's a some child abuse and some weird culture stuff going on. I'm very interested, very intrigued, but taking it very slowly because it could scare me. Then there is this Broken Glass by Arthur Miller, and this is a Penguin play. I found this at Goodwill again for 50, not Goodwill, Bull Moose for 50 cents. I would have liked it in a different edition, but I've heard Hannah Tay rave about it, so I figured if I bought it for 50 cents and it worked, great. If I bought it for 50 cents and it didn't work, we'd figure it out. So I'm not too upset about it. I think this is about a woman who, I don't know what's going on with me. There are 4 books that I bought or have that arrived to me in this month talking about Nazi Germany at this point, and dystopian worlds and people taking over cultures. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, this talks about a woman who is obsessed with Nazi Germany and what happens and then becomes paralyzed for no reason, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know what's happening there. And then this is The Woman in Black, and it's a vintage classic edition in the red spine. This is by Susan Hill. I realized that, well, first of all, I got a notification that it was like $1.75 somewhere. Where did I have it on my wish list? I had it on a wish list somewhere on like a used book site, and they were like, here, it's $1.75, and I was like, yeah, okay. So, yeah, I've seen the film, and it scared the crap out of me, and I enjoyed it, so I'm curious to see what the film is based on. And then this is The Girl with Glass Feet by Ali Shaw. Ali Shaw wrote a book that was doing the rounds on BookTube, and it had the cover was like a tiger or something. I don't remember the title of it, but I know that everyone was curious about it, and then everyone read it and didn't really like it. So I was very, very unsure what to do, but everyone who didn't like it said they liked her writing, but they didn't like the story. So I figured this was a good way to kind of see it in a different way. Again, 50 cents. This is The Girl with Glass Feet, and it is supposed to be like a modern day fairy tale-esque sort of Blizzard world with romance. We'll see how it goes. I'm not 100% sure, but again, 50 cents. Madness by Mary Hornbacher. This is the author of Wasted. You guys know how much I loved Wasted. This is her story of her experience with bipolar. This will be on my shelf for a while, unread. I know that, and I'm okay with it because I already know that I love her writing and I adore everything that she does, and I really respect her as an artist and a person, but I really just don't have the energy right now to dive into one of her nonfictions because they're so draining for me. So I'm taking my time on this, but now I own it, and I'm happy to do so. 50 cents. Then that Bull Moose trip, I ended up bringing in some books that I sold back to the Bull Moose store and ended up with like an $11 credit with them because of the books I sold back. Plus I had some points which were up to I think like 18 points, which the 18 points give me half off of a book that's $18. So instead of paying $18 for a book, I paid $9 for a book. And so then I also had all those 50 cents things. So all in all, I think I ended up paying $4 in cash for everything, which included Bryan Cranston's A Life in Parts, which is an $18 new release. I think I did pretty well. This is right now, this is what I'm in the middle of during the Dewey Readathon. I've started this. I'm on page 150. Really enjoying it. Really obsessed with it. I will tell you more when I'm finished. I can definitely tell you that as somebody who has not finished the TV show, Breaking Bad, I'm kind of embarrassed to say that. My dad loves it. He's obsessed. He's watched it 3 times at this point. I really think that at this point, having read as much as I have and learned about his background in crime and his background, he's not a criminal. He worked as a police officer, and everything that he's like gone through in his life, I want to go into it and really watch it because he compares himself a lot to Walt back and forth. So I'm really curious about that. Then this one was a pre-order on my part. This is Hannah Hart's Buffering. This will be read by me in November, Nonfiction November. I'll do the Nonfiction November TBR after this. And it's an Unshared Tales of the Life Fully Loaded. And I'm really, really excited because this is the YouTuber who does My Drunk Kitchen, and I have really had interest in her. I don't know why, I just always felt drawn to her. It was not that anything she did that really like stood out to me. It wasn't even like I felt like her videos were anything I really wanted to watch, but for some reason I was drawn to her as a person. And then she kind of opened up a little bit in certain interviews that I've seen talking about her mother with schizophrenia and her experience with that. And so I really want to get to know her as a person outside of the internet, and I'm hoping that this book will allow me to do so. We're just going to put you there. And then this one I've already reviewed, and I will link the review below. This is Our Hearts Will Burn Us Down. 5-star read. Absolutely loved it. Anne Valenti, go buy it. This was incredible, and I really enjoyed it. This is a story of a school where there's a shooting and the aftermath, and there's a little bit of a mystery in it, and I think it was fabulous. I really enjoyed it. Totally wonderful. Link the full review down below. But this was a pre-order. I ordered it last November when I found out it was going to be coming out, and then it didn't come out until this October. So there's that. And then this was my only book that I purchased at full price this month because I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. This is The Blind Astronomer's Daughter by John Pipkin, and I saw this and immediately felt drawn to it. I mean, first of all, the cover is absolutely stunning, and the stars go all the way to the back. So the cover is beautiful. It's totally worth that. But it wasn't just a cover buy. Something about this got me so that I wanted it and needed it. Something was calling to me, and I can't tell you what it is for the life of me, but like something is calling to me. So I will read that and report back to what was calling, because I'm not sure. Then the book that I picked out for the 3 books that my mom offered to purchase for me was the one that would grow my interest in something, and that was March. This is book 1 by John Lewis. This is a story, a nonfiction, a graphic novel about the civil rights movement and the life of a black man and the background and history of the black community and so on in America. I'm very, very in love with it. I read it finally. I read it for the book readathon earlier this morning at around 8 a.m. and it took me like all 45 minutes. It wasn't really hard at all. I will give you a more full in-depth review of it in the upcoming review. The review wrap-up thing of my readathon for the Buddy Readathon. And then This Way Madness Lies. I ordered this 3 months ago, and it took that long to get here. I don't know why. I don't understand. Nothing else took that long, but I'm okay with it because it's finally here. This is a nonfiction book talking about the history of mental health and Bellevue. And you guys know how I feel about that. I really wish I could find a nonfiction talking about the history of mental health treatment, because there's a lot of really interesting things that I don't think get touched on, which is the fact that I don't think that we're still beyond trying to cause lobotomies to people, but that's totally my opinion, and I think we do it with medication, but I'm totally gonna, if you guys want to hear about that, let me know, but otherwise I'm gonna let that go. But yes, that for me is a really big thing, but this is heavy, but I'm very, very happy to finally have it on my hands. So yes. There you guys have it. That is my October part 2 wrap up. Nope, October part 2 book haul. Now I have spent 20 minutes with you. I'm going to go film one more video and then I'm going to get back to my Dewey's reading. And I will see you guys tomorrow.